Samarad. Nothing is impossible. Illusion loses purpose in the world. Nothing is impossible. Illusion loses purpose in the world. Human mind can do anything. IQ, people, is infinite. Consciousness, and wake up. Do not live in the illusion, because it is unrealistic and exists only in your subconscious. The U.S. state due to declare that pornography public health hazard epidemic proportions, and Governor Gary Herbert signed a resolution according to which it keeps sexual toxic environment and contributes hypersexuality teenagers. The resolution is not binding, but its sponsor, Senator Todd Valer, says he's not trying to ban pornography. He made an analogy with tobacco, whose harmful effects are widely recognized in the second half of the 20th century, and people give up these habits without having to open the prohibition. The resolution adds that children are often exposed to pornography and it often forms the sexual template youth. Jute will continue to promote education and research on the subject, and because some of the promoters say that pornography may affect the development and functioning of the brain and is associated with a decrease in the desire among young people to enter into marriage. Ireland could become the first Western democracy that will attempt to censor the internet under radical proposals to block online pornography, writes Telegraph. The government is considering the introduction of filters, versus those if China cut on the rest of THVRLD, in order to prevent Icelanders to take off a pornographic content on the internet. This VP was justified fears about the harmful effects of the internet on children and women. Violent pornography. Interior Minister, Ogmunda Jónasson, presently drafted legislation that would young people from online pornography via PC, consoles and mobile phones. We have to be able to discuss the ban violent pornography, about which we are all agreed identification. Harmful for young people and can have a direct connection with incidents of violent crime, said Jónasson. The methods that are currently being discussed include access to pornographic sites and ban on the use of Icelandic credit card when paying for the content in question. Censorship as in China. The law that prohibits the printing and distribution of pornographic, already in place, but still does not cover internet proposals, will very likely become law despite the elections in April. We have so many professionals working with children and they stand behind this proposal. This has become bigger than party politics. We are looking for the best ways to achieve this goal. If we can put a man on the moon, we will deal with pornography on the internet, she said. Holagunasdóttir, political advisor to the Minister Jónasson. The proposed control mechanisms, many are reminiscent of those in China, and it is believed that children and women being used exclusively as a means of achieving censorship. India, a country that was 2000 years ago invented a sex manual Kama Sutra, obviously changed the attitude towards sex. Authorities blocked hundreds of pornographic pages on the pretext of morality and decency, and the public condemns this act as much invasion of privacy. Indian authorities have decided that porn social nuisance and blocked hundreds of pornographic websites. Revenge porn, a process in which the lovers are published nude photos of his ex-partner or partners on the internet, an increasing British problem which could soon be resolved by law. Chris Grayling, Britain's Justice Minister said the government is considering taking such action in the struggle against revenge porn, which he said is a major social problem. This is a topic open former British Minister of Culture Maria Miller, who carried out a campaign against revenge porn. In the UK there are about 30 internet sites used by vindictive people to help them to publish photos of his former love in positions that might offend. The former, whose photos also made public, are powerless, because this kind of activity is not a violation of any law. Even if you take all they can to remove photos from a single page, it will never be completely removed from the internet as photos are downloaded and other sites and then surrounds the online community. This is a form of sexual abuse against women. You need to ensure that we have the legal protection for victims, says Miller. The British Ministry of Justice is now considering how to implement such a law in the legislative part of the state. Remember, under attack revenge porn found in one of the children's nanny British Prime Minister David Cameron when the former boyfriend released her nude photos. These days, Serbian Facebook circulating stories about the campaign which says that altogether we have to say a big no. Pornography, that dirty, dangerous monsters that destroys our youth. Normally, with that immediately had given up a lot of noise, but the Serbian internet divided into two sides. Some believe that porn Sodom and Gomorrah of modern society and to leave the terrifying consequences, and the other they laugh in your face. According to the group Samerad that advocates avoiding porn, often viewing pornography is associated with problems with concentration, low motivation, depression, social anxiety, negative self-perception in terms of physical appearance and erectile dysfunction and loads of other symptoms, which more like a serious medical condition than to occasionally watching sexy films. Starting at the beginning, unless you have grown up under a rock, you've probably at least once watched porn. It is likely that such films actually watch quite often. Well, as they say, people from Samerad, bad grades in school actually receive because of such films. No, it has nothing to do with the fact that you are lazy, you do not study regularly, running away from classes and occasionally alcoholism. Evil, dangerous porn are to blame for everything. The teenagers should not watch porn movies because their brains susceptible to the effects of chemical overload for continuous monitoring of vision. We are interested in what they say about their grandparents, who were at their age already had sex. On the other hand, do you know which is the best way to get a kid to do something? Well, tell him that it can, but not at the cost of life not to work. Some of you may remember the lectures about how masturbation is not good, was in elementary school. And, what is most kids did that day right after school? You guessed it, poking have to see what it was. So the whole story about that pornography can have negative consequences in itself is not so banal. These films are certainly not designed for school children, but can leave bad consequences that are shown later, when a person becomes sexually active. Creates unrealistic expectations, and of himself and of the partners, which later can be a big problem. However, to lead to addiction, need to spend hours and hours looking at it, he said. That porn addiction is nothing new, confirmed the special team, Samerad, Special Education Advice Center, which in my counseling work with people who are addicted to pornography. However, he points out that this type depending on the West are much higher than ours, and that he often meets with addicts from gambling than from online pornography. However, the question of whether moderate viewing pornography must have necessarily negative results. The answer to this question largely depends on whom. This is definitely not recommended for children, as was pointed out on such films, but as adults are concerned, who are already sexually active, have real experience and expectations, does not have to come to negative consequences or states to sodomy. sexologist Samarad explains that watching erotic movies with a partner can be a great incentive to try new things or harm again. Of course, everything should be done in moderation, however, and in this case an exaggeration may have negative consequences, explains Samarad Organization.
In diesen Tagen, serbisch Facebook zirkulierende Geschichten über die Kampagne, die besagt, dass alle zusammen haben wir ein großes Nein sagen. Pornografie, die schmutzig, gefährliche Monster, die unsere Jugend zerstört. Normalerweise mit, das sofort hatte eine Menge Lärm, aber die serbischen Internet in 2 Seiten aufgegeben, einige, das Porno Sodom und Gomorra der modernen Gesellschaft glauben und die schrecklichen Folgen zu verlassen, und die anderen lachen sie in ihrem Gesicht. Nach Angaben der Gruppe Samurat, die Porno tritt dafür zu vermeiden. Oft sehen Pornografie ist im Zusammenhang mit Problemen mit der Konzentration, geringe Motivation, Depression, soziale Angst, negative Selbstwahrnehmung in Bezug auf die körperliche Erscheinung und erektile Dysfunktion. Und lasten andere Symptome, die als mehr wie eine schwerwiegende Erkrankung beobachten gelegentlich sexy Filme. Beginnend am Anfang, es sei denn, Sie haben unter einem Felsen aufgewachsen, haben Sie wahrscheinlich mindestens einmal beobachtet Pornos. Es ist wahrscheinlich, dass solche Filme Sie oft tatsächlich beobachten. Nun, wie Sie sagen, die Menschen aus Samurat, schlechte Noten in der Schule erhalten tatsächlich wegen solcher Filme. Nein, es hat nichts zu tun mit der Tatsache, dass sie faul sind, die sie nicht regelmäßig untersuchen, laufen weg von Klassen und gelegentlich Alkoholis, böse, gefährlich Porno sind an allem schuld. Die Jugendlichen sollten nicht Pornofilme, weil ihr Gehirn anfällig für die Auswirkungen von chemischen Überlastung für die kontinuierliche Überwachung von Vision zu beobachten. Wir sind daran interessiert, was sie sagen, über ihre Großeltern, die in ihrem Alter waren bereits Sex hatten. Auf der anderen Seite, sie wissen, welcher der beste Weg ist, ein Kind zu tun, um etwas zu bekommen. Nun, sagen sie ihm, dass es kann, aber nicht auf Kosten des Lebens, nicht zu arbeiten. Einige von ihnen werden die Vorträge über daran erinnern, wie Masturbation ist nicht gut, war in der Grundschule. Und was ist die meisten Kinder an diesem Tag direkt nach der Schule gemacht? Sie haben es erraten, Stoche haben, um zu sehen, was es war. So ist die ganze Geschichte über die Pornografie negative Folgen in sich haben kann, ist nicht so banal. Diese Filme sind sicherlich nicht für Schulkinder konzipiert, kann aber schlimme Folgen hinterlassen, die später gezeigt werden, wenn eine Person sexuell aktiv wird. Erzeugt unrealistische Erwartungen und von sich selbst und der Partner, der später ein großes Problem sein kann. Doch zur Sucht führen, müssen viele Stunden verbringen, es zu betrachten, sagte er. Das Pornosucht ist nichts Neues, das Spezialtheam Samurat, spezielle Bildungsberatung bestätigt, die in meiner Beratungsarbeit mit Menschen, die zu Pornografie süchtig sind. Aber er weist darauf hin, dass diese Art auf dem Westen abhängig sind viel höher als bei uns, und er trifft oft mit Drogenabhängigen aus dem Glücksspiel als von Online-Pornografie. Allerdings muss die Frage, ob moderate Betrachtungspornografie haben zwangsläufig negative Ergebnisse. Die Antwort auf diese Frage hängt weitgehend von den Mögen. Dies ist definitiv nicht für Kinder zu empfehlen, da wurde auf solche Filme hingewiesen. Aber als Erwachsene betroffen sind, die bereits sexuell aktiv, haben reale Erfahrungen und Erwartungen, hat nicht zu negativen Folgen zu kommen oder starten zur Sodomie. Sexologist Samurat erklärt, dass mit einem Partner erotische Filme kann ein großer Anreiz sein, wieder zu versuchen, neue Dinge oder Schaden. Natürlich sollte alles in Massen geschehen, aber, und in diesem Fall kann eine Übertreibung negative Folgen haben, erklärt Samurat Organisation.